we're starting over. Hey guys, welcome back to our channel. If this is the first time you stopped by on our channel, thank you for stopping by and being on our channel. We're really happy to have you here. So today, you guys, we're going to be talking about carbs and debunking the idea that low carb is healthier for you. I know that it's a huge trend and it's one of my pet peeves that this idea of low carb being the best approach to weight loss and fat loss and health, it's running so rampant, and I think it's sad because it's just so far from the truth. Okay, so let's dig into what carbs are, what they do for the body, what happens when people are on low carb diets, all of these things related to carbs. All right, so let's get started. All right, you guys, so carbs, carbohydrates, one of the main macronutrients that our bodies need to survive. You have fats, you have proteins, and you have carbohydrates, okay? So what happens is when we eat carbs, they get broken down into glucose, which is sugar, okay? Glucose is the body's main source and preferred source of energy to literally do everything that the body does, okay, just to function. So glucose gets transferred to the blood and then taken to the entire body so that it can do what the body does, okay? Anything left over is stored as glycogen in the muscles and in the liver until further notice when it is needed elsewhere for something else down the road, okay? Now, what does the body use carbs for? A lot, okay? So the body uses carbs, you guys, to burn fat, okay? It's a little bit ironic that you have to have carbohydrates in order to burn fat because fat burns in what is called a carbohydrate lane, okay? What that means is basically that when carbs are metabolized in the body, it releases this acid that is absolutely essential to burn fat. Okay, so without carbs being metabolized in the body, this acid isn't released, therefore fat can't be burned. Okay, so that's one thing that carbs are used for in the body, is to burn fat. Number two is to keep the immune system strong and healthy. Okay, so there are proteins and antibodies in our body that are made from proteins and carbohydrates. So if you're not eating carbs, then there's no source for these antibodies and proteins to be made up as complete proteins and antibodies, therefore leaving you and your immune system at risk, okay? Number three, you guys, carbohydrates, eating carbs protects your protein as a fuel source, okay? So what happens is if we don't eat carbs, the next source of energy that our body is going to draw upon is protein in our body. So what happens and what that means is that if protein is acting as the main source of energy for the body, then it can't do what protein is meant to do, which is repair the body, okay? So if you are eating enough carbs, then protein can go on its merry way and repair the muscle tissue, let's say, that was damaged in the really hard workout that you just did yesterday, right? So protein is super important for recovery and muscle building, which is why it's so important to have carbohydrates so the body doesn't actually eat up all that protein just for energy, okay? Let's talk about, you guys, what happens when people eat low carb diets. What are the results? I'll tell you bad things happen, okay? But number one, weight gain is actually a huge side effect to low carb diets. And it's because eating low carb isn't sustainable, right? Lifelong or like long term. So when people go back to eating carbs and eating normal diet, their body's not used to digesting carbs anymore. And there's also a lot of water that comes with eating the carbs. So therefore you get bloated, you get puffy, you kind of gain weight and it's uncomfortable, right? So that's one thing that happens when people eat low carb. Another thing that can happen, you guys, is your digestive system gets totally whacked out. Carbs are usually really high in fiber, and so if you're not getting enough fiber, you will most likely be struggling with constipation and some really long bathroom breaks because you're not getting enough fiber. So that's number two. Number three, you guys, overall nutrient deficiency, because carbohydrates have a ton of vitamins, minerals, micronutrients in them that you really can't get anywhere else. And so when you're depriving yourself of carbs, you're also depriving yourselves of all these nutrients that your body needs in order to function. So when we talk about carbs, we have two different types of carbs, right? There are complex carbs and there are simple carbs. There are subcategories underneath these, but we're just going to talk in general. Complex and simple, okay? So complex carbs, you guys, are the ones that you want to prioritize in your diet, okay? They're going to be lower on the glycemic index. They're going to help stabilize your blood sugar instead of causing spikes, right? They're going to help you feel fuller and satiated longer. These are the ones that are going to actually help you in your fat loss journey. And they've also been shown to help reduce like heart disease risks and diabetes, okay? So those are the ones that you're going to want to eat a high amount of during the day. Then we have simple carbs, which are the ones that have a really bad rep, to be honest. And they really shouldn't entirely have a bad rep, in my opinion, okay? So simple carbs, you guys, they're usually a little bit lower in nutritious value because they've been so processed, which is true. And they are going to be the carbs that are going to cause your blood sugar to spike viciously because they digest so quickly. However, this can actually be utilized if you are working out, training, especially for athletes. They'll utilize simple carbs. They'll eat them before their workouts and after their workouts. Before, in order to help fuel and give them the immediate energy they need for their workouts, and then afterwards to help replenish the glycogen stores that have been depleted from their workout. Because glucose is absolutely essential for your muscle to start healing itself and repairing and growing and all of that, okay? So carbs in and of themselves, you guys, do not cause fat gain, weight gain, okay? What causes weight gain is an energy imbalance, meaning you are taking in way more calories than you're burning, okay? And the majority of the adult population, it leads a very sedentary life. And so while they might think that it's carbs that are causing them to gain weight, on the contrary, carbs might just be the main makeup of their diet and what they eat every day, but they're just not burning enough energy to burn up all those calories that they're taking in. So it's not the carbs, it's the fact that they're eating too much and they're working out and moving too little. It's an energy imbalance, okay? So I hope this was informative, you guys. It is a pet peeve of mine that carbs get such a bad rep because they are vital to life. And so, low carb diets and approaches can be really detrimental to your body, to your overall health, and especially to your composition and physique goals. So I want to shed some light on that. You guys, if this video was helpful, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel, and we'll see you guys in the next video.